ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। श्रीराम जयम्। ओम शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। Namaskar and welcome back to Amara Bharati Samskrita YouTube channel, where we are studying the Manika Dvitiyo Bhagaha 10th standard Sanskrit textbook. In that, the second lesson, that is Naasti Tyaagasamam Sukham Dvitiyaha Pathaha. You may remember this sentence, Naasti Tyaagasamam Sukham, from the first chapter, from the first lesson, where one of the shlokas had this particular title, Naasti Tyaagasamam Sukham. The meaning of this is, there is no happiness equivalent to sacrifice and renunciation. We will look at an English explanation of this particular lesson. In the beginning, there is a short conversation among students and also with their teacher, which we see now. Rajivaha. Rajiva says, Soma, O Soma, Pashya etat chitram. Look at this picture. Somaha. Soma says, Ativa Sundaram. Very beautiful. Extremely beautiful. Then Shobha. Shobha says, Etat tu Ajanta Guhanam Chitram Pratiyate. This indeed looks like a picture of the Ajanta caves, which is Ajanta Ellora caves, which you may have heard. Rajivaha. Rajiva says, yes. Maharashtra Pradeshe Sthitaha Etaha Ajanta Guhaha Eva. Indeed, these are the Ajanta caves situated in or located in the state of Maharashtra. Then Saurabha. Saurabha says, Aho, in wonder. Drishtam, seen, means I have seen these caves. Atratu anekani jataka chitrani uttankitani santi. Here indeed are many of the Jataka tales in carved state, means carved in stone. Uttankitani, carved in stone. Devika says, Jatakam kim bhavati? What is Jataka? He doesn't know what is Jataka. We'll see further. Next, Rajiva says, Aham na jane, I don't know. Acharyam prakshyamaha. Let's ask our teacher. Tatra gatva, having gone there to the teacher. Chhatraha, students. Guruvara, respected teacher. Jatakam kim bhavati? What is Jataka? Acharya, teacher says, Jatakam arthat janma. Jataka means janma, birth or incarnation. Jatakamala iti namni pustake. In the book named as Jatakamala, Bhagavataha Buddhasya Purva Janmanaha Vividhaha Kathaha Santi. Vividhaha Kathaha means there are various stories of what? Bhagavataha Buddhasya Purva Janma. Purva Janma means of the previous incarnations of Bhagavan Buddha. Etasu, in these stories, Parahitaya Sarvasvam Tyaktavyam. For the benefit of others, one should sacrifice everything. Iti eva shikshitam. This is what is only taught. The only thing taught in all these stories is that for the benefit of others, one person, we should sacrifice everything. Etadrishim ekam katham kathayami. I will narrate to you one such story. Chhatraha, students say, Evam, is it? Vayam etadrishim katham shrotum utsukaha. Utsukaha means we are eager or enthusiastic. Etadrishim katham shrotum, to listen to such a story. Acharya says, Acharya, Shruyatam tavat. Listen attentively. Bauddhacharyasya Arya Shurasya Jatakamalayaha Shivi Jataka Adharita Esha Katha. Esha Katha, this story, Adharita, is based on what? Shivi Jataka. The Shivi Jataka tale from where? Bauddhacharyasya Arya Shurasya Jatakamalayaha. From the Jatakamala written by a Bauddha Acharya by name Arya Shura. So from whatever I know, this Arya Shura was a person who lived in the 3rd or the 4th century AD, which is around 1600, 1700 years ago. So this story, whatever we are going to see now, to read now, is 1700 years, 1600 years old. A short background to Jataka. Bodhisattva is the name by which Bhagavan Buddha was known in his previous incarnations, and Jataka tales narrate the stories of Bodhisattva. A fascinating, a wonderful set of tales, very fascinating, very educative, and very entertaining too. I would recommend that you read these stories later on in your life, all the stories of Jataka. For those of you who know Kannada, there is a book called Bodhisattvana Kathegalu, which is really a voluminous book by the great poet G.P. Rajaratnam. Those of you who know Kannada can also go through this book. Very, very nicely written book. Now we go to the story proper. Atha Ekada. Once upon a time, Bhagavan Bodhisattva Bahu Janma Arjita Punya Phalaihi. Because of the result of accumulation of virtuous deeds, means Punya Phala, Bahu Janma Arjita, over several births. What did he become? Shivinam Raja Abhavat, became the king of Shivi. Saha Balyat Eva. From his childhood itself, Vriddhopasevi, he was doing service to the elders. Vinayashilaha, and he was having the nature of humility. Shastra Parangataha cha asit, and also an expert in the scriptures, the Shastras. Jana Kalyana Karmasu Rataha Asau, engaged in the welfare of his people, which means the citizens of his country. Asau means he. Putravat Prajaha Palayatisma, he looked after his citizens as though his own children. Karunya Audaryadi Sadgunopetaha Saha, endowed with the noble qualities. Sadguna is noble qualities of what? Karunya is compassion or kindness, and Audarya is nothing but generosity or magnanimity. Saha Nagarasya Samantataha, he, Nagarasya Samantataha means all around the city. What did he do? Dhana Dhanya Samriddhaha Danashalaha Akarayat, he built charity houses or donation houses which were filled with plenty of dhana, wealth, and dhanya, which is food grains. So he built a number of charity houses across the city which were filled with wealth and food grains. Charity houses, donation houses. Tatra Arthinam Samuhaha. Arthi is a person who desires to receive such kind of a charity. Arthinam Samuhaha, the groups of persons, a group of persons desiring to obtain such things. Anna, Pana, Vasana, Rajata, Suvarna, Adikani, Abhishtani, Vastuni, Prapya. Abhishtani, Vastuni, Prapya means having obtained their objects of desire. Like what? Anna is food, Pana is drink, means water, beverages, etc. Vasana is staying place or resting place. Rajata is silver. Suvarna is gold. And Adi means all others. Having obtained them, Santushtaha Abhavat, they became happy, they became satisfied. Ragnyaha Dana Shilatam Akarnya. Having heard of the magnanimity of this king, Deshantarebhyopi Janaha Tam Desham Ayantisma. People from outside his kingdom, Deshantara, outside the kingdom, also used to come to this kingdom. That's what is the meaning of this paragraph. We go further. Atha kadachit dana shalasu vicharan. Once when he was enquiring in the charity houses, what happened? Saha Raja, this king, the king, Bahu dhana labhena santushtanam arthinam virala sankhyan vilokya. Virala sankhyan means lesser number. Upon seeing the lesser numbers of those persons, what kind of persons? Bahu dhana labhena santushtanam arthinam, who were satisfied or happy upon gaining plenty of wealth. So even though he was giving plenty of wealth, he noticed that the number of people started decreasing. The number of people coming to his donation houses became less. Why? Because perhaps one situation is like this: a person would have taken a lot of charity from the king, lot of wealth and food grains, etc. And for the next few days, he's satisfied with whatever he has taken. So he'll take a long time to come back one more time. So the number of people started dwindling, is what he's telling, is what he noticed. Number of people started getting lesser and lesser. And what did the king think? Achintayat. He thought like this: Mama arthinahatu dhanalabha matrena santosham bhajante. Those persons who desire donations from me indeed get satisfied or become happy by just gaining wealth itself. However, nunam te danaviraha. Indeed, those persons are the real heroes of charity. Those persons, other than me, there are some other persons who are real heroes of charity. Sobhagyashalinaha. And fortunate people indeed. Yan yachakaha sharirasya angani api yachante. From aspirants or desirous persons ask or beg for bodily parts also, means organs of the body. So there are people who are ready to give, who donate the organs of their own body, and there are people who are willing to receive those bodily parts, and those people who give such donations are the real heroes of charity, whereas I am just an ordinary person who is donating wealth. That's what the king thought. Evam rajnyaha sveshu gatreshu api nirasaktim vijnaya. Then in this way, having known that the king has developed disinterest, nirasakti is disinterest, in his own body. Sveshu gatreshu, gatra means body. He had developed a disinterest in his own body, having known this, that he is interested in sacrificing his own body parts, his own body. Sakalam brahmandam vyakulam sanjatam. The entire world became perplexed or bewildered. They didn't expect the king to be like this. Next, Rajni evam vicharaiti sati. When the king was considering like this, tasya danashilatam parikshitam, in order to test his charitable nature, devadhipatihi shakraha, the king of the gods, which is Indra or Devendra or Shakra, all the three mean the same thing, same person, the king of the gods. Netra hina yachakasya rupam dharayitva, having taken the form or disguised as a netrahina, a blind person, yachaka, blind beggar. Tat purataha avadat, in front of the king, said like this: Hey Rajan, O king, bhavataha danaviratam akarnya, having heard of your heroic generosity, ashanvitaha, filled with hope or desire, bhavat samipam agataha asmi, I have come to approach you. Deva, O king, Ravi Shashi Tara Mandala Bhushitam Jagad Etat Kathaniva Pashyayam Chakshurhinaha. Chakshurhinaha means blind person. Katham Pashyayam, how can I ever see? What can I not ever see? This world, etat jagat, how can I ever see this world? What kind of world? Bhushitam, adorned. Adorned with what? Ravi, Shashi and Tara. Tara Mandala. With the sun, the moon and the constellations of stars. How can I ever see the beauty of nature is what the blind beggar asked. The blind beggar was indeed Indra disguised as a blind beggar. Then Raja Uvacha, king said, Bhagavan, O great one, Bhavan Manoratham Purayitva, having fulfilled your mind's desire, Atmanam Anugrahitam Kartum Ichhami, I wish to grace or bless myself, which means I will fulfill your mind's desire. Adishyatam Kim Karvani, please order or command, what should I do? Vipraha Akathayat, the Brahmin said, which means Indra came in the form of a blind beggar Brahmin. Yadi Bhavan Pritaha, if you are pleased, Tada Tvattaha Ekasya Chakshushaha Danam Ichhami, then I desire a donation of one eye of yours. Yena Mama Lokayatra Nirbadha Bhavet, by which my travels across the world, which means my usual worldly activities, my worldly transactions become nirbadha, trouble-free or hassle-free. Tat Shrutva, having heard this, Raja Achintayat, the king thought like this, Loke Chakshurdanam Dushkarameva, in this world, eye donation is indeed difficult. You need to note one thing, today also there is something called eye donation, where the eye's cornea of the dead people is taken and put in the eye bank, and it is then transplanted to another person who may be blind. So that is the cornea taken from a dead person. But here we are talking about an eye donation from a living person, from a living human being. So there is a big difference between eye donation today and whatever eye donation we are seeing in this particular story. Nunam idrisham danam icchan ayam yachakaha kenapi preritaha syat. Indeed, nunam, indeed, by wishing such a donation, idrisham danam icchan, by wishing such a donation, ayam yachakaha, this beggar is prompted by some other person, which means there is some other person behind this beggar who is prompting him to ask me the eye. That's what the king thought. Athava bhavattu nama bahu kim bahu chintanena, or else, or be it so, what to get by thinking too much, which means I should fulfill his request, I should not ponder too much about this, is what the king thought. Iti vicharya, having thought so, Raja Abhashata, the king said, Bhaumitra, O friend, Kim ekena chakshusha, what with only one eye? Aham bhavate chakshur dvayam eva prayachami iti. I will indeed give you both of my eyes. That's what the king said to the beggar. Rajnyaha netra danartham nischayam nyatva. Knowing or having heard about the king's decision to donate his eyes, Amatyaha Vishannaha Bhutva, the ministers of the king, having become sad or sorrowful, Avadan, said, Maharaja, O king, Alam etavata dussahasena, enough of such a misadventure. Dussahasa is misadventure. Prabhutam dhanameva diyatam, plenty of money is only to be given. Just send away this beggar by giving a lot of money. Don't give your eyes, don't do such a misadventure, is what the ministers advised. Athasa Raja Tan Avadat. Then the king told them like this. There's a shloka. Dasyami ti pratignyaya yonyatha kurute manaha karpanya nishchita mate kasyat papatarastatah. Dasyamiti pratignyaya yonyatha kurute manah karpanya nishchita mate kasyat papatarastatah. The padacheda or the pada vibhaga is like this. Dasyami iti प्रतिज्ञाय यः अन्यथा कुरुते मनः कार्पण्य अनिश्चित mateः कः स्यात् पापतरः ततः. The अन्वया or the prose order is दास्यामि इति प्रतिज्ञाय यः मनः अन्यथा कुरुते कार्पण्यानिश्चित mateः ततः पापतरः कः स्यात् is the question. We look at the pratipada artha, which is the individual word meanings. Dasyami, I will give, I will donate. Iti, thus. Pratignyaya, having promised. Yaha, one who. Anyatha kurute, does otherwise. Does exactly the opposite. Manaha, mind. Karpanya anishchita matehe. Of such a person having uncertain, not firm decision because of weakness of mind. Kaha, who. Syat, will be. Papataraha, more sinful, tataha, than him. What is the overall meaning? Having promised that I will donate, that mind which does the opposite. That means if the person does not do such a donation, then who will be more sinful than such a person who cannot take a firm decision because of weakness of mind? That's the meaning. Explanation is like this. If a person decides and promises to make a donation and does not fulfill such a promise, then he will be considered as having a weakness of mind. He cannot take a firm decision and he will be wavering. He is indeed the most sinful person on earth. There is no other more sinful person than him. There are stories in our Purana literature where a person immediately does a donation. Immediately upon deciding, he will do the donation without postponing, lest his mind gets changed to do otherwise. Now there is a word called Karpanya here. In the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 2, in this verse 7, Arjuna says, Karpanya dosha upahata swabhavaha. I would give you a task to find out the meaning of this shloka from your elders at home. Next we go further. Naham, the king is continuing to ponder. Naham swargam na moksham va kamaye. I do not desire heaven, which is swarga, or liberation, which is moksha. Kintu artanam paritranaya eva me nishchayah. But my firm decision is only towards the protection or relief of the afflicted persons, of the persons who are in trouble. Asya yachya vritha ma astu. This person's request or begging should not go waste. Ityuktva, having told thus, having said thus, Raja Vaidya Ukta Vidhina, using a doctor prescribed procedure. Vaidya Ukta Vidhina means a medically prescribed procedure, a doctor prescribed procedure. Nilot Palam Iva, just like plucking a blue lotus. Shanaihi, slowly and carefully. Akshatam, without causing too much of an injury. Ekam chakshuhu utpatya, having removed one of his eyes. Pritya yachakaya samarpitavan, lovingly offered it to the beggar. Look at this sentence, it is very, very interesting. They are telling about a medically prescribed procedure, and just like plucking a lotus, slowly and carefully, without causing injury. It looks like some kind of a surgical procedure being told. You may note that the Charaka Samhita and the Sushruta Samhita, the medical textbooks which were in Sanskrit, were written much before this thing. This is 1700 years old. Those are much older than this, maybe 2200 or 2300 years old. So it looks like at that point of time, when the story is written, medical procedures were there in India. So I would give you a project later on in your life to take time to analyze and see the Charaka Samhita and Sushruta Samhita, learn enough Sanskrit in your life in future and study these books to see whether modern surgical procedures were indeed present in those times, and that will be an interesting study to do. Saha api, and offered it to the beggar, lovingly offered. He did not have any grudge towards the beggar. he lovingly offered his own eye to the beggar. That's what we can see. Saha api tat netram yathasthanam asthapayat. That beggar also placed or positioned that eye in the appropriate place. So we are seeing one more surgery here. One surgical procedure to remove the eye from the king, and one more surgical procedure to place the same eye in the beggar. So two procedures are seen here. Tato Mahipalaha Dvitiyam Netramapi Shanaihi Nishkasya Tasmai Ayachat. Then the king, having slowly removed the second eye, gave it to him. So the king lost both his eyes, and the beggar got both those eyes. Atha Vismitaha Shakraha Achintayat. Then the surprised Indra thought like this: Aho Dhritihi, what a courage! Aho Sattvam, what an existence of this king! Aho Sattva Hitaishita, what a strong desire for the welfare of living beings! These are all expressions of wonder which Indra had in his mind. Further, Nayam Chiram Pariklesham Anubhavitum Arhati. Indra is continuing to ponder in his mind. He, the king, does not deserve to experience torment or affliction or pain for long time. Ataha prayatishye. Therefore, I will put effort. For what? Chakshusho asya punaha pratyaropanaya iti. I will put effort to re-establish or replace back his eyes, which means give him back both his eyes. I will put all my effort for that, is what Indra thought. Katipayaihi dinaihi. After a few days, Vrana viropane jate. Upon healing of the wound of the king, with the eyes having gone, ekada, once, Raja Sarovarasya Sanipe. Once the king, in the vicinity of a lake, Viharatisma, was strolling in the vicinity of a lake. Tada tasya purataha punaha. Then in front of him, punaha, once again, Devaraja Shakraha upasthitaha bhutva. Devaraja Indra, having come in front of him, tasya tyagavrittim prashamsan, praising his spirit of sacrifice or donation, avadat, told him like this: Shakrohamasmi devendrastvotsamipamupagataha varam vranishvarajarshe yadichhasi taducyatam. Shakrohamasmi devendrastvotsamipamupagataha varam vranishvarajarshe yadichhasi taducyatam. The padacheda is like this: Shakraha aham asmi devendraha Tvat samipam upagataha varam vranishva rajarshe yat ichhasi tat uchyatam. Anvaya is rajarshe aham devendraha shakraha tvat samipam upagataha asmi varam vranishva yat ichhasi tat uchyatam. The pratipadarthas are like this: Chakra is Indra, aham is I, asmi is am, devendra, tvat of you, samipam proximity, vicinity, nearness, upagataha having come, varam boon, vranishva seek or ask, rajarshe o rajarshi o king, yat which whatever, ichhasi you desire, tat that, uchyatam is to be told. So the meaning is, O king, I am Indra, Devendra, the king of the gods. I have come near you. Ask for a boon. Whatever you desire, please let that be told. Please ask whatever you desire. Rajarshi means a rishi in the form of a king. Here it is Bodhisattva in the form of a king. Next, Evam Uktena Rajna. Having been told thus, Rajna Netrartham Prarthite. With the king having indeed requested for eye or eyesight to be restored. Prarthite sati Shakrasya Prabhavena. Through the power of Indra, Atmanaha Satya Punya Balena cha. And also by his own strength of truth and virtuous deeds or Punya Phala, Tasya Prathamam Ekam Chakshuhu Pratishtitam Abhavat. His first eye got restored or re-established. Tataha Dvitiyam api. And then his second eye also was restored. Bhuyaha Pritaha. Then Indra, who was again pleased, Bhuyaha Pritaha Shakraha, Varam Ayachat, gave another boon. What is that? Shatayojana paryantam shailanam parancha drashtum samartha bhava iti. May you become capable of seeing 100 yojanas distance, and also the other end of mountains, other side of the mountains, which means you can see through the mountains to the other side, something like an X-ray. If you know, X-ray was invented in 1895, and we are talking of something like an X-ray concept, at least in a thought, something like 1700 years ago. So our ancient people in our country had a lot of foresight. A lot of things were already there, maybe we cannot say, in our country. So he's talking about something seen through the mountain to the other side, like an X-ray, as I told you. Iti uktva, having said thus, Shakraha tatraiva antarhitaha abhavat. Indra disappeared there itself, became invisible. Ataha satyameva uktam. Therefore, truth is indeed said. What is that? Dhanasya nissara laghosya saro yaddiyate lokahitonmukhena nidhanatam yatihi diyamanam adiyamanam nidhanaika nishtham. Dhanasya nissara laghosya saro yaddiyate lokahitonmukhena nidhanatam yatihi diyamanam adiyamanam nidhanaika nishtham. Padacheda is dhanasya nissara laghoho saha saraha yat diyate lokahita unmukhena nidhanatam yatihi diyamanam adiyamanam nidhana ekanishtham. Anvaya is nissara laghoho dhanasya saha saraha yat lokahita unmukhena diyate diyamanam dhanam nidhanatam hi yati adiyamanam dhanam nidhana ekanishtham bhavati. This is the Anvaya. Now we look at the Pratipada Artha. Dhanasya of wealth, Nissara Laghoho without essence, and light, trifling, insignificant. Lagho means light or not heavy, very insignificant thing. Saha, he, Saraha, essence, substance. Yat, which, Diyate is given. Lokahita unmukhena, towards the benefit of the world. Nidhanatam, treasure. Yati, gets. He, indeed. Diyamanam, that which is given in charity. Adiyamanam, that which is not given in charity. Nidhanaika nishtam, destruction is the final result, the ultimate destiny. The meaning is of wealth which is indeed and in general without essence, and which is trivial. The only essence is that which gets donated towards benefit of the world. That wealth which is donated in charity indeed becomes a treasure. That wealth which is not donated in charity meets the ultimate fate of destruction. Explanation is like this. Wealth by itself in general is absolutely without essence and is trifling. It's almost worthless. Only that wealth which is used for the benefit of others, donated as a charity, indeed becomes a treasure. That wealth which is not used for the benefit of others, which is not donated, indeed gets destroyed. Therefore, as far as possible, it is better to give our wealth in charity rather than accumulate it. This is the moral of this particular story. Well, that brings me to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share. See you in the next video with the exercise part of the same lesson, Naasti Tyaagasamam Sukham. YouTube Amarabharati Samskrita. Shubham Bhuyat. Mangalamastu. Shri Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanamastu.